This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Rabotai, por favor tomen asiento. Please have a seat. I'm going to introduce Rabbi Glatstein, and we're going to have a short schmooze, a short class by Rabbi Glatstein. So we need to move. Rabbi Isai, please have a seat. La idea de Arbite es hacer el break, te sienta, para no seguir. Ok. No podemos empezar así. Ezra, no sé qué me estás ayudando. $10 minutos. Ya sabes, 10 minutos. Okay. This will be a little bit different introduction. I'll tell you why. Today, we have a very nice present, the mystery and the majesty. This is all about Elul, Yamim Noraim, and Sukkot. So, Sukkot. So whoever thinks that, the job is done, is just starting. You have to go through all this. There's a lot of great messages, words. This is amazing. But I want to tell you something about this. And this is being dedicated for the Brahan Hatzlaha Narehud Yamim of our dear brothers. I never seen something like this. Dear parents, for our kids. Someone for the brothers. This is something new. It's good. Like you've been bringing Hidushim so also. Alberto and Frida Bazán, Moy and Sara Benaví, Ariel and Alegre Bazán, Sebi and Bibi Blumenfrocht, Max and Francine Jacobs and their families. Con mucho cariño, I would say this, Isaac y Sarita Bazán, Hazaku Baruch. I said I'm going to say something different about this introduction, and it's because like this. If you see Rabbi Glatstein is a young rabbi. Just younger, but he's a young rabbi. And if you say, okay, I'm going to look into Torah anytime for his classes. Okay, so a young rabbi, maybe 100 classes. But this rabbi has thousands of classes. But not just thousands of classes. He's also in all Parsha. He has, I think, 3 different, classes weekly on this platform. Besides that, he has not only this book, but he has a couple of books. And these books is not about stories. Every single page you have to work, because he's quoting from so many Sfarim, I have to. He said, wow, and you say, well, I thought I understood that, but he's bringing something new. So I haven't discussed what I'm going to say now with him, but I'm going to allow myself, because I'm a little older, and maybe because I'm holding the microphone also, to say what I think about it and what we can learn from that. I think that how has he accomplished so much being so young is because every single time, I'm guessing, I never heard that from you, and if you said it before, I don't know. Every single time that he comes across a geschmack, a groise, a nice, a beautiful insight, opposite to most of us, opposite to what most of us do, he write it down. He say, you know what? This is great. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to share it. I'm going to use it. And he didn't I'm assuming, because this is what I always say, my Talmidim. Don't write in pencil, and don't write in a way that you can never read again what you wrote. Because if you don't write, never. You're probably going to forget, and you're not going to have it. If you write in a way that is not going to be readable in the future, so you also, Hatzi Aveda, you're missing the whole thing. So today, it's easy to type in the computer. And today I have another thing. Let's say you're not good at writing and you don't have all the time. Okay, good. You know what? Voice record. Send me a voice note. Send to yourself. Have a voice note. I hear today a story like this and like this. And, very important, label it correctly. Because then you're not going to find it. This is about Shabbat. This is about Torah learning. This is about friendship. This is about Kibbut Abayim. This is about Shalom Bayit. And if you start doing this today, maybe when you're going to be his age, some of you are younger, you will probably also have this chut to have some Sfarim. And maybe you're not going to have your Shiurim in Torah anytime. But maybe you will have something different. You'll share your Shiurim with your family and friends. That's great. And I know many people in this room that started. There's one gentleman in this side, and there's another gentleman in this side. They both live in the same building. I don't know if they convince you in this building that you have to record and send recordings of, Bartolach in the Parsha, Teofilo, and Tubi, or maybe because it's the same name. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm confused. But I'm saying, and this is my message, Rabotai. It came across, and I think it's good also for going back home with something. We all get inspired. Yossi Shrem, listen to my advice. You have great Bartolach. Write down. Share it properly. Not just when you speak to someone and you say it. This is going to go away. If you write down, you pass it over for the generation. Also, Agadah Shel Pesach. I always say this about Agadah Shel Pesach. People you cannot say everything, but you can build your own Agadah Shel Pesach. It will call Agadah Shel Pesach David Hafetz. You're going to be passed through. Year by year, there's two things that for me are remarkable. I wanna write it down and share it. Muche quiere que le dé el micrófono a Muche. Okay, good job. Entonces, so from now on, Rabotai, I invite you to please, whatever you like, whatever is touching for you, write it down. Make a voice recording for yourself and to share with others. When you already have something good, send it over to your friends, to your family, in your family chat. This is something easy, it's durable, it changed your life and the life of others. And I think, Rabbi, forgive me if I guess wrong how you make it happen. But I'm thinking, whatever he was preaching. Oh, 1 second. But the secret is, if it's precious, if you really value it, so then you make the effort to write it down. Then you make the effort to take the microphone and say, I have a shiur, I have a hizuk, I have something good to say in Torah anytime. Maybe a yid in Panama or in any other place in the world will get something out of it. This is what he is doing. I have another idea, I want to share it. I read something last night, get it in the microphone. So, it's good that he's all over again and again. And Am Yisrael has been zoheh to have so much Torah out of someone who's, whatever he's liking, he's sharing with others. Rabbi, please. Okay. This book is outside, please. Everyone can have one.
Rabotai, the longer the introduction, the shorter the drasha. Actually, on schedule, I was supposed to give a 45-minute in-depth shiur on Inyanei Shabbat. But Eli said I should come back next year and give it next year instead. I'm just going to share with you some personal thoughts, Dvarim Ketzarim. Bershus, Chashav Rabbanim, Rav Geldworth Shlita, Yedidi, Rav Moshe Aaron, Friedman Shlita. I was very inspired by Reb Lipa's words speaking about the Warsaw Ghetto because it means something to me very personally. My grandfather, Harav Mordechai Leib Glatstein, Zecher Tzak Levracha, who passed away recently at 106 years old, was one of the last survivors of the Warsaw Ghetto. Talmid Muvak of Rav Menachem Zemba. Ben Bayis of Rav Menachem Zemba. He was charged by Rav Menachem Zemba to participate in the Warsaw Ghetto uprising. There's great discussion. What was Rav Menachem Zemba's opinion of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising? My grandfather told me, black and white, what Rav Menachem Zemba told him. I'll just share with you some personal thoughts. It's amazing to recognize that our enemies have a very clear understanding of what our role is in the world. You know, when my grandfather was in the concentration camps and the Nazi would beat him, my grandfather would be saying Tehillim. And the Nazi would say, Rabbi, why are you praying? You think the Jewish people have a future? We Germans, we will eradicate the Jews of Europe. The Jews of Palestine, the Arabs will annihilate the Jews of Palestine. And the Jews in America? The Jews of America will take care of themselves. And of all of their perspectives, the one they were most correct about was the Jews of America. Because the United States of America has lost more Jews than were lost in Europe between 1939 and 1945. Do you know today in America, 7 out of every 10 weddings that take place are an intermarriage? This was the clear ideology of the Nazis. They knew exactly what the future of the Jewish people had in store. There's a well-known account about my grandfather who smuggled in a pair of tefillin into a camp called Radom. Many people have adopted the story. The story happened to my grandfather. He smuggled in a pair of tefillin to Radom together with his brother Henoch. Every morning, at the crack of dawn, my grandfather would put on the tefillin, and then he would give it to his brother Henoch, who would put on the tefillin. The Lagerführer of Radom was a Nazi by the name of Ficus. If Ficus catches you putting on tefillin, there's a bullet in your head the next second. Every morning without fail, my grandfather would wake up with his brother to put on tefillin. One particular morning, my grandfather puts on the tefillin. He gives it to Uncle Henoch. Henoch puts on the tefillin shel yad. Henoch then puts on the tefillin shel rosh. The Nazi walks in, Ficus picks up the gun to shoot, and he sees the tefillin shel rosh perched on the head of this tzaddik. And he chapta tziter, and he put the gun down, and he ran out, b'moira gadol, zu giloi shchina. My grandfather wrote this in Das Yiddish Wort about 30 years ago. Zu giloi shchina. My grandfather was taken to Dachau. He was taken to the gas chamber. He was headed to the gas chamber. He's together with Henoch on the line to the gas chamber. Henoch tells my grandfather, Mordche, I'm going to die of parched throat before we get in. Could I please have a little bit of water? My grandfather says, we cannot drink now. Water will prolong our death. With one foot in the gas chamber, the Nazi grabbed the two of them by their hair, yanked them out, and said, what are you doing here? You're young, you could work. Get out of here. And my grandfather wrote, this heavenly miracle will remain etched in my soul forever. And just thinking about that, the following thought always occurs to me. That it wasn't just my grandfather who was yanked out of the gas chamber. The Rebbeinu Shalom pulled him out of the gas chamber. The Rebbeinu Shalom pulled my father out of the gas chamber. He pulled me out. And I'm fortunate to have my dear son Meir with me, this Yarchei Kallah. We were all yanked out. I don't know. I guess the Rebbeinu Shalom wanted us. I guess he wanted us. I don't know why. But we must have a purpose in this world. And you know something? If you're here and you're a Shomer Torah mitzvahs and you're connected to the Jewish people, then the Rebbeinu Shalom wants you to. Do you know how long the Rebbeinu Shalom is keeping an eye on you for? Do you know how many miracles HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to perform for you to be here? 3,300 years ago, your ancestors were in Egypt. You know, 80% of our people perished. But your direct ancestors were saved so you could be here today. In the times of the first Beis HaMikdash, 1.1 million Jews were slaughtered. But your ancestors made it through so that you could be here today. Churban Bayesheni, Spanish Inquisition, Chmielnicki pogroms, crusades, time after time after time, Hashem has been looking out for you so you could be here. Rav Yaakov Emden observed the miraculous eternity of the Jewish people. And Rav Yaakov Emden penned the eternal words. Ve'eich lo yevosh hakofer v'yamoid nichlam. How can the heretic not be utterly ashamed? Be'amdeinu al matzavenu ba'olam, thinking about the state of the Jewish people in world history. Says Rabbi Yaakov Emden, Achar kol ma she'avar oleinu. After everything that has transpired to our people, alafim mehashanim, after thousands of years, we're still here. We're still learning the Torah. We're learning Daf Yomi, Oiraisa, Amud Yomi, Kinyan Masechta. Says Rabbi Yaakov Emden, B'hisboinani b'nefloi seila. When I contemplate the miraculous eternity of the Jewish people, Godloi etzloi yoiser mikol nisim shakadosh baruch hu asa im avoseinu b'mitzrayim. How often do we say, you know, if God would just show me a miracle, like the splitting of the sea, then I would really believe in Him. Friends, that was nothing. The miracle of Panama, Yarchei, Kallah, 2023, Tafshin Pei Gimel, is a much greater miracle than Kriyas Yamsuf, Dam Tzvardeya, Kinim, Oroiv, Dever, Shchin, with Makas Becharas put together. What would Rabbi Yaakov Emden say if he saw the miracle of this Yarchei Kallah? You know, Rabbi Yaakov Emden took a shvua. The Chassam Sofer said about Rabbi Yaakov Emden that he was a Navi. Chassam Sofer uses that lashon. Rabbi Yaakov Emden says, Chai nafshi, I swear that the miracle of Jewish survival is greater than any miracle the Rebbeinu Shalom performed. You know, when the Jews were crossing the Red Sea, they turned to each other, you know, if God would really show us a real miracle, like Yarchei, Kallah, and Panama, maybe then I would believe in Hashem. But they didn't see it, so unfortunately, Vayamru Bayam Bayamsuf. They didn't see real miracles. You're seeing a real miracle. And that's the miracle that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for you. That you're here. And you could answer Amen. And you could answer Amen Yehishmei Rabbah. And you could learn a line of Gemara. And you could learn a pasuk in the Chumash. We should all be zoicha to the greatest miracle of all. Kimei Tzeischa, Me'aretz Mitzrayim, Arenu Neflois. Be'ezus Hashem, L'shana Haba, B'Yerushalayim. Thank you very much.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.